Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at the iiyama Red Eagle. This is their G2470 HSU. This is a very bright panel full of really good features and comes in at an exceptionally good price currently at the moment in the UK, possibly elsewhere as well. Obviously, as always, links will be put in the video description if you want to check out for yourselves your local pricing. But I think if you're after a 1080p high refresh rate monitor, you don't want to spend an absolute fortune, but you do want that quality from IPS, then this is definitely one to put on your shopping list. Let's take a closer look. So as you can see, we've got this set up on the desk already, and actually trying to get the camera to get the right colors and to make it look as good as possible was really tricky. So my apologies if the video quality isn't up to its usual standards. Possibly it's better, let me know in the comments section. Anyway, I digress. So this is the iiyama Red Eagle. This is part of their G Master range of monitors, which basically pushed more towards gamers, but gamers who have somewhat of a budget. So if you don't want to spend an absolute fortune, if you've got somewhere in the region of about 120 to 130 pounds set aside for your 1080p gaming monitor, this has got to be towards the top of your list. Now, I've seen other monitors from other manufacturers such as AOC and Huawei, etc, etc. And there's a lot of competition on the market, don't get me wrong. So depending when you're watching this and where you're watching this, you may find that those may be better value for you. But I think after using this for around about a week or so, I think this is going to be one you really want to put on the list. So some of the specifications, like I said already, is a 165 Hz monitor. It does have an IPS panel, a fast IPS panel at that. You also have, obviously 1080p is the resolution. There's also cool features in there such as MPRT, which basically kind of strobes the backlight to reduce fatigue when you're actually using it. I tried actually showing it on the camera, but when I do, it just shows like a flickery mess. So I won't be showing you that now. This is currently with it off. You also have other features such as Freesync Premium. So if you are using an AMD graphics card, you can get it to sync your frame rate so it doesn't look like a blurry mess, which is awesome. And also you can use it with G-Sync as well. It's not entirely 100% G-Sync compatible, but it will work with it. But you do have to kind of tell the control panel, yes, please use G-Sync. Other than that, it's absolutely fine. Some other cool features it has built in as well. It does have a USB hub. There's two USB 2.0 ports built in there, and there is an uplink cable included in the packaging. So you can plug it into your PC if your PC is slightly out of reach, and you can use the USB ports on the side, which you're probably seeing for some B-roll. When it comes to connectivity, got a reasonably good amount of connectivity there. You do have an HDMI port, so that's HDMI 1.4, and that supports up to 144 Hz. If you want to get it up to 165 Hz, then you will be resorting to a DisplayPort cable, which in a lot of cases is preferable, and this supports DisplayPort 1.2. Also, there is a speaker output or headphone output, so if you want to plug in your favorite headphones, you can do. There's a 3.5mm jack on the back, but actually you probably won't need to because this actually has some pretty strong speakers built in. It's very unusual these days for monitors, especially more budget orientated ones, to have built-in speakers, but this has some really nice powered 2x2 watt speakers. They're up firing from the back and the grill's nice and open, so you do actually get some really decent sound. If you're just watching YouTube videos, a little bit of recreation, they're fine. Obviously, if you're watching movies and things like that, you probably will benefit from either headset or dedicated speakers, but for general Windows purposes and browsing the internet, absolutely fine. Another nice feature is the fact that the screen is actually a matte panel, so you don't have too much of that reflection going on. It's more of a semi-matte, so there is a little bit of a gloss to it, but not a great deal. This is going to be obviously really good if you're in an area where there is daylight coming in and bouncing off of things. It's going to reduce that to some extent. But something which actually does reduce it is the fact that this thing is really bright, kicking out somewhere in the region of between 350 and 380 nits, depending on the model you get. So it does kick out an incredible amount of brightness, and actually what you're seeing on the screen right now is actually with the brightness set down to its 0 point. So this is actually on 0 brightness and it still absolutely pops. As you can see, the colors look absolutely fantastic. As you'd expect with an IPS panel, that is something you get that real richness to it, which makes it like pop from the screen. And talking of the IPS screen, the colors, like I said, well, you can actually see they do pop out of the screen, which is really nice to see. And it does cover 99% of the sRGB gamut. Obviously, that is pretty good, but if you do want to go up to P3 standards, then it is a little bit lower. So again, potentially if you are using this primarily for photo editing, video editing, color accuracy, you might want to get something a little bit different in their range. And talking of their range, this is actually one of the confusing things about the iiyama range. There's a lot of model numbers. So this is the G2470 HSU. There is also a B version, so a GB2470. Essentially, the main differences between that is the fact that the stand actually has rise and also portrait mode as well. This particular version just has tilt. There's a reasonable amount of tilt there, so depending on where it's sat on a desk, ideally, if you want to get the best out of it, probably best to get yourself a monitor arm or something like that. But even so, from standard, it's pretty good, and you do have that range of flexibility for tilt should you need to use it. And as always, if you spend more, you get more. But you do have the option here. If you want to save the money, you can just go with the tilt option. If you want to spend more money, then you can get the rise, tilt, portrait, etc. And potentially there's other versions like there as well on the market and different regions. So if you don't necessarily want the USB hub, potentially you can save some money there. When it comes to the out of the box experience, I actually find this to be really good. You get everything you need in there. So there is a USB A to B cable, so you can use that to plug into your PC to power those USB ports. You get a power cable included, which isn't always a given these days. You also get something which is very cool. That is the fact you actually get a display port and an HDMI cable. This is again one of those things where potentially they could have shaved a few pounds off maybe by not including those cables. I think a lot of people, if you're buying this, potentially it's going to be your first gaming monitor for your new build PC. It's nice to have all the bits there ready straight out of the box. When it came to gaming on this monitor, no problems at all. Very enjoyable experience, and actually when I was playing, it did feel really smooth. Now I have come from a 4K 60Hz monitor, which I use for my video editing. So actually having this as possibly an additional monitor, if you've already got a rather expensive 4K monitor, but you just want something else for fast IPS gaming, then this actually might be a pretty decent addition to your setup, having a dual monitor setup, one dedicated for games, one dedicated for photo editing and video editing, and you're pretty much set. And also, it's not going to cost you a fortune. Like I said, this you should be able to pick up in most places in the UK around the time of filming, which is towards the end of August 2023, for somewhere between £120 and £130. So overall, I think it's fantastic value for money and definitely one you should put on your shopping list. So overall, to wrap things up, what do I think of this monitor? I think it's actually great value for money, around about £120, £130. If you've just built yourself your nice little first PC, or just a gaming PC in general, and you want a really nice fast IPS panel to play your games and not suffer from horrible motion blur and all that kind of stuff, I think this is a fantastic option. I have seen other monitors from other manufacturers, and to be honest with you, there isn't a great deal between them. I think mostly it's going to be luck of the draw, how well your monitor performs out of the box from the factory. As with all mass manufactured things, they do have their kind of low and high spots, but don't worry, with this you do also get a 3-year warranty as well, so should you experience any problems, it can be pretty easy to swap it out. So I think that's going to pretty much wrap up my thoughts on the iiyama Red Eagle G Master G2470 HSU. Wow, these monitor names are getting longer and longer. I think this is a great one. Let me know what you think about this one in the comment section. Have you bought one of these? What have been your experiences? Actually really looking forward to know what your thoughts are. I'm actually surprised this isn't the best seller on Amazon. For some bizarre reason it isn't, but maybe it should be, and after this review possibly it will be, who knows. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap things up. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.